just watched that film that I made in the garden. And it's a few hours later now, it's dark, I've had my tea. I did my endless satsang with Gina Lake. Link below. Christ conscious transmission. It was real. And yeah, I was just like looking at that footage back, and I thought it'd be it's a good definition of trippy, is what happened with that film. I only made it this afternoon. So I inaugurated and described and welcomed and used, access to the healing of that garden today for the first time for my friend, who I have not heard from, really, and certainly haven't been in contact with since the funeral, and that was quite a few weeks ago. He's been really upset about it. And I inaugurated the garden and sat down, did my Christ conscious transmission, and he texted me for the first time in weeks and weeks that he's back on today. So that was a beautiful, that's trippy, man. And like the battery thing, because you'll see at the end, is there's an exact 10-second of the trees at the end for the end screen, and it cuts off there. That's when the battery died. It didn't die in the middle, and there wasn't any left. What it was I was saying was brought to the perfect end in time with 10 seconds only to spare. That's trippy, man. It's inexplicable. It's so perfectly aligned. It's so perfectly synchronized. It's so perfectly real. It's so perfect. Just inexplicable. You couldn't make it up. That's trippy. Thanks for joining me with those. Anyone that actually stuck through it. I watched it. I was like, is any human actually going to be able to watch this? I don't know. We shall see. But that's my heart. That's my heart. I'm going down there. This is the this is what I really wanted to talk about. This is my Atma Linga and the experiences I had with this today, with Paramashiva and Nityananda in those dimensions, in those experiences of transcendence, of other dimensions on just a gram of mushrooms. Absolutely. I've been to the other side. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Big up. Safe. I accidentally smoked some more weed. I didn't mean to, honestly. But it's like I started to explain what an Atma Linga, because I'm still sort of just on the tail end of the experience of the mushrooms now, really. But I'm just in a sort of spacey state, so cannabis kind of sort of projects you into the space. I certainly don't condone by any of the making of these videos. In fact, very seriously, the use of psychedelics. Not everybody lived out of that period that I'd been talking about this afternoon. By any stretch of the imagination. There's a list. So, it's about watching yourself. That's life. Boom. Profundity. Yes, quite. I was about to describe to myself this Atma Linga, what an Atma Linga is. So I thought I might benefit from teaching about it so that I might receive some more about the truth of this. He's gone through, there's a YouTuber, the coronavirus has resulted in wishing to grow his hair and take his shirt off and play death metal guitar. I mean, but before that, he had a shaved head and he was in India and like playing with phenocite and moldavite and things. And he described some time ago, and I didn't really know what it was. I saw a video on it, and it was a little like a sort of stumpy cigar type of. It's about sort of. It's like a sort of. It's slightly sort of phallic, basically. It's like double-ended phallic. It looks like a capsule, like a caplet. That sort of double ovoid shape with a straight in the middle. Made of, I think, maybe clear quartz. By like, I don't know what sort of process involving what kind of humans, bless them. I don't know. Producing these things. And you get a mail order, and it's part of the kind of, he's like a guru, but like a, you're welcome to have your own feeling on it. He marks himself as an ascended master, essentially, as having direct access and being a direct representative of the one infinite creator on earth in a kind of a Christ Jesus kind of a context, which is right at the moment becoming quite a widespread kind of concept, in fact, by my observation. So, I'm sort of tempted to, things that I would have thought would be ridiculous 5 years ago, I don't even bat an eyelid about now. But I don't know, the coronavirus has interrupted global postage, and there's a lot of people wanting Atma Lingas, because it's kind of a sort of a, when I say what it is, you'll be like, oh right, yeah, one of those. It's the physical manifestation of supernatural consciousness, is what it is. And it is blessed directly from Nityananda, Swamiji. And I was like, because this guy was giving away his moldavite and his feet, like proper huge, thousands of dollars, man. These crystals were huge. Mate, they cost more than cars, those crystals. He was selling them. He was like, I don't need my crystals because I've got my Atma Linga. So I was like, all right. Nice crystals, mate. And like the video the next week was like, any stone, because of the postal situation globally, that people wanted Atma Lingas that couldn't get them. So, Nityananda decreed that he would bless any stone in the possession of any person that wished for it to be an Atma Linga. And when I was on mushrooms today, I'm glad I'm telling this story now, good, is he described it, the process of blessing of it was to place it on your midriff. And it was, it was quite an extraordinary sort of experience, really, is to place it like by the belly button. And then it's like, right, we are going to have a baby together. you and me are going to have a baby together, like direct across a camera on like Zoom or whatever it is, and like this is the baby. Okay. It's like a bit of you and a bit of me, but he's like an earthly manifestation. He's an ascended master, so he's like an earthly manifestation of all that is. So, and like so am I anyway. So, but like behind like clouds and stuff, mostly. And that's really what mushrooms is like blowing away these clouds. So I had this septarian nodule. I'm not sure how they're produced exactly. But it grabbed my attention. I was like, I have to have one of those. It's not even the one that I ordered. Septarian nodule. It's yellow calcite with aragonite around grey chalcedony in a matrix formation that seems to be naturally a nodule like this, like a pebble kind of form. That's it. It doesn't come in like a raw form that I've seen, like a chunk form. It's always these little nodules, and they look very sweet. I was extremely taken by them, and I was like, I'm having one. The wrong one arrived, but never mind, it's my one. It certainly is now. Honestly, that's the second time today that I've seen light coming out of it onto my hand. I'm just like, what? Anyway, this was the stone that I nominated to be blessed in an initiation of Atma Lingas by Nithyananda Swamiji, direct by video prayer, basically. From Kailasa, the new Hindu nation that's establishing its own parliament and senate, and I don't think anybody knows where it is. But it's also everywhere. This is like a pass. Anyway, I know, right? It's actually really intense. This, honestly, it grabbed me back into, this is when I started smoking weed. I've been giving up weed all year. I think we've sort of discussed this. But it was the process of doing this that made me overrun and then forget a Laurie Ladd global conscious meditation with the Syrian download something or other. Anyway, missed it, and I was very upset. And it drove me to my old friend cannabis. It did. I wish I hadn't had all year. And the experience I had with this stone, honestly, I was taken to like a Hindu kind of a universe, completely immaterial, but journeyed to this incredible place with enlightened masters on hand to instruct you, and like being given lessons and like shown in all colours, incredible colours and clouds of colours and swirls, but then physical, actual structure in temples, incredible gold, intensely detailed temples containing this like a liquid metal, like a flowing mirror, and that was human consciousness. And I was like looking at it, and it was reflecting, and they were like, yeah, but you're outside of that consciousness, but there it is, and that's the nature of it, that reflective liquid. It was super intense. It really was. And it was like a bit after that I did mushrooms, and then this was a big part of it, and it was this that I was walking around in my hand. And these two stones are quite a pair, really. The Sintamani and this Atma Linga septarian nodule. And yeah, so today, then, it was variously in my hand and then bit being sort of. But yeah, it arrived back, and this is when I had the mushrooms experience. I was like, I had the mushrooms at like 2:30, and this was 5:30. I think. Yeah, I didn't, and I was just like, I'm not really. I was a bit bored. I wasn't like tripping enough to be like kind of distracted from my daily routines, basically. I was like, yeah, so did this thing, and then I was like, right, it's I can't. This is terribly X-rated. It's a Dynavap. It's the most brilliant thing. And I was a smoker for years, and it's a way of consuming cannabis that doesn't smoke. It's vaporization, but it includes all of the pleasurable bits of like smoking, which is grinding up and like packing in and getting a lighter out. You hit it with a lighter, see? It's like you put the stuff inside it and hit it with a lighter, and it makes it into a steam. And you pass the steam through water, and that is a vaporizer. Very beautiful one. So I'd hit that. But so that then took me by the hand. It's a huge relation to this, to that particular earth spirit from that particular part of the world. Perhaps, and others like it, those tropics, but you know what I mean, is Hindu Kush. I was saying, is yeah, it arrived at my belly button. It did, and went through a complete. It was extraordinary. It's like I fluttered upwards. It's like I reached a state of self-completion where I'd come in from outside and I'd been turning those two spirals, and those two spirals were like my hands' energy vortex fields. I don't know what else to call it. Is an inner prayer. Picked up my Atma Linga. It was in my pocket anyway, but picked up and put it between my two hands and kind of synchronized those two energies that I had been outside doing, the sort of joy and then the sort of grief, and embodied one in each hand. And the Atma Linga was like an interface between them. And there was this kind of other realmly fluttering upward as these two sort of energies met in the Atma Linga and kind of fused, harmonized, and sort of cancel one another out maybe, but there was like a blue kind of energy shape that unfolded. And I felt I was like fluttering upwards, and all this was going on in what I would describe as another dimension. So it's like absolutely real, but it's not like an all-encompassing experience like you would get on like a big K hit. Because it's only 1 gram of mushrooms, this is today. Like 1 hit on 1 bowl. And there's hardly any material in that. Yeah, fluttering upwards. And like being in the hall of God. And I was seeking him. I had several crystals on, and I had the Atma Linga in my left hand, and I should place him on his little throne. Oh, you missed that. Throne. Yeah, I had that in my left hand, and I had this damburite, like a little sword, and I was like, but it's like, it wasn't here, but it was totally like, and I wasn't like surrounded by it. It was like a place I went to in spirit. It's like another flip of the same reality. It's like the wavelengths are, it's like where we're on, it's like earthquakes or something. So you get a P wave and an S wave. And I was just like, this is the P wave, and I was going to the S wave. Right, same material. One's a push type of energy, push type of transfer, pushes through the material, is quite slow. And the S wave, oh no, the P wave is super quick. Is that true? Yeah. But then the S wave is like running through the surface like that. It's the S wave that fucks everything up. I think. Anyway. It's lovely that. It has a kind of an emission. It's a bit like a cigarette. I enjoyed that. Anyway, yeah, Atma Linga. Yeah. And yeah, I communed with that whole. I met my friends and Nathan from the Vibes and Frequencies family over there. They were like, hey, this is the new life. It's all good. And there's just this love. Do you know what I mean? No bodies at all. No third dimension. Well, not like bodies like these. It's like space is not real now. Space is not real. The way I live, or maybe we all live, like through Zoom and those things. That is being unified with other individuals. It doesn't matter how far away you are, where you are on a planet. It's the same. Christ conscious transmission this afternoon. Just extraordinary. Just extraordinary. Extraordinary. Damn, you're right. Yeah, it was bloody amazing today. Bloody amazing, really. Because I didn't go out in the garden and pick up the GoPro till after I'd sort of come off the main sort of blast wave, really. When I hit that machine, I got taken with the Atma Linga. That was otherworldly. That was amazing. But like only in a sort of it's difficult to describe because it's not like the walls are bending. Like it would be with acid, and a lot of mushrooms would do that. Like make everything bend and you sort of see things and patterns and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't like that at all. It's just 1 gram of cumulatives. It was hardly anything. But it just gave an access to it's like open the door to kingdom of God. Wow. Yeah. Proper save. That's the... well, if that's get on the internet, goodness me. What does the world come to?